Commanders training camp is finally here. Let's get you set before the players take the field. Coming up, head coach Ron Rivera is entering a critical year 3 in Washington. He sits down with Julie Donaldson to talk about expectations for this season. And with plenty of movement this offseason, we'll tackle some of the top storylines heading into training camp. Former Washington Stars Logan Paulsen and Santana make their picks for the top players they'll be watching at this year's camp. Plus, the franchise turns 90 this season. We'll share how the team will honor the past with some help from our fans. Hey there, and welcome into the Command Center. I'm Bram Weinstein with Logan Paulsen and Santana and training camp is finally here. What's the mindset?
Man, I was stressed out, man. I was always a little stressed out for training camp because, for me, it was am I going to get a paycheck? That was kind of a stressful thing for me, and also being away from my family. And you're going into something that's very physically and emotionally taxing for the year. But again, exciting about it, but a little bit of stress to negotiate this last week.
Well, once I got here, I had to make sure that I was getting my mind, caught up into what I have to do, when it comes to my job. I dreaded, that day when I had to put all the summer behind me and just leaving the family. But once I got up here, I gave myself a couple of days, just to prepare mentally, physically. When it's time to go out there and practice, I was ready to go.
Head coach Ron Rivera and company are preparing for their third year in Washington. His first season in D.C. resulted in a division title and a trip to the postseason, but following a less than impressive year in 2021, Coach hopes to lead the team back to the playoffs this fall. And with the addition of quarterback Carson Wentz, expectations are starting to rise in the nation's capital as we get set for training camp. Here is Coach Rivera's conversation with Julie Donaldson.
Coach Terry McLaurin. Everybody was sitting wondering and waiting, okay, when is that day? When's it going to get done? And we had heard you all along saying, have faith, we want to keep Terry. Mm-hmm. And we knew Terry wanted to be here as well. Why was it so important to make sure that he's a player that we retained on this team?
Well, I think you understand this and you know this, how important an organizational signing is. Mm-hmm. And by that, I mean, it's not just good for you on the field, but off the field, in the community, in the business world side of football. And when you have guys like that, guys that do things the right way, represent you the right way, that's invaluable. And so knowing that a guy like Terry was a guy we had to get done, taken care of, we went and did it. We got a lot of support from the organization, a lot of support from the ownership, sitting down with the Snyders, explaining what our 3-year plan is, what the vision is, how having a guy like Terry really adds to what we can do with a guy like Carson Wentz. That was important to us.
He's now got Carson. How can that impact what Terry's capable of doing?
Well, I think, and again, not just for Terry and not just for the other receivers, but for the offense in general. And Terry talked about Carson's arm, about watching him throw the ball the way he did when he was with the Eagles and the way he did when he was with the Colts. And he's got that kind of arm. And so now the offense is going to stretch vertically, it's going to stretch horizontally, it's going to get wider, it's going to get longer, which is going to open up spaces on the field, which is going to allow our guys to really have an impact and make a difference. And Terry may not be that 1,000-yard guy, but what he may be is he may be that valuable weapon that opens up and creates for others, and then it reciprocates.
One of the biggest storylines was the team going to come to terms with Terry McLaurin on a new contract extension? That did happen. How important was it to get it done?
I think it's done. I think it's really important because obviously he's one of the most important people to this organization. He's been the face of it. He's been one of the most productive players here. Get it done. Let's stop talking about it. Let's let them play football. Let's let Carson Wentz and then Terry work on their chemistry and let's get moving forward.
Yeah, I'm happy it's over, but I think, it was kind of blown out of proportion a little bit. I think they knew that they had a number that they was going to go after, his team, and the team was going to make sure that they gave him, the respect on that. I'm just glad that he got it finalized because I think one of the things, he has been a stellar guy, on and off the field, and you need a guy like that in here, especially when you're bringing in new guys, of the caliber of Johann, and having a guy like Samuels, that play the same position. You want to show them that this is how we do things here, and he's a definition of how you lead by example.
It is a very interesting group of skill position players. I think the biggest storyline is Carson Wentz, the acquisition of the quarterback, how he adapts to this offense, utilizes all these pieces. What do you expect?
It's the most important important position in all of football. He's a guy that, you know, as we've talked about, has some physical tools, does some things that allows this offense to be more dynamic, especially with these skill position players across the board. It's exciting to have a starting caliber player at the position for the first time in a while. The season rests on how he does, quite frankly. If he's good, the team's going to be good. If he's bad, the team's not going to be good. So that is why he's maybe the most important person to be talking about at this point of the year.
Yeah, and you know, playing the position of being a receiver for so long in this league, you know, he makes or break you. You know, he makes or break, you know, what you can do on the outside. But I think collectively as a team, as an offense, you know, he's going to be the integral part that's going to allow us to say that we have an offense that can possibly take us into the postseason. And I think it's going to all lie on his shoulders.
The other big bounce back question is the defense, which had a really slow start, then got mired in a lot of injuries. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, but they did collectively get better as the season went along. But as we all know, most people believe this team will go as far as this defense takes them, especially the front.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit different this year with the addition of Carson Wentz. But yes, the defense is going to be a big part of their success, and I expect the defense to play really well this year, just because the strength of schedule. They're not playing top 10 quarterbacks. They're not playing top 10 teams. They're going to be in a much better situation just from competition standpoint. So I expect them to be much better and be much more productive. And I think there's enough talent here to get that done.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I think when you look at what happened last year, it was almost you know, seeing a team that had came off their high horse a little bit because, you know, you got those pretty accolades coming into last year, and we was talking about being the best, and then you go out there and you lay an egg, you know, for half of the season. Coming into this year, no one wants to be recognized that way. No one wants that memory to play around in their head. So I know they're going to come out with a different attitude and a different mindset this year going forward.
How about the depth in the secondary and at linebacker? How concerned are you entering training camp?
I mean, it's a little concerning, obviously. Like, they only have 4 kind of established guys in the roster. They don't use a linebacker on every single down. Or they do, but it's not three linebacker set. It's 2, it's 1, depending on how they use those safeties. Set safety, they got Forrest, they got Butler. So there is some safety depth there, but it's got to develop. So again, a little bit of a question mark, probably more for linebacker for me. But again, those things to keep an eye on during training camp.
Yeah, I'm not so concerned with it. I think nowadays they play around with those coverages so much now, man. They're going to pull guys here and there to play those positions because of, you know, how many defensive backs they have on the field or how many linebackers they want to use for those particular downs. I don't get caught up into it more so now because I remember back in the days you make sure that you had enough. Nowadays they say, hey, we have 11 guys out there. They should be able to get the job done.
And we'll see. As the reminder to all the fans, the training camp starts this week. Players take the field on Wednesday, July 27th. It runs through August 16th. If you missed out on the lottery for tickets to attend camp in Ashburn, don't worry. We'll have you covered with updates from the field every day on the team's website and social media channels. Still to come, fresh off his contract extension, Terry McLaurin opens up to the fan base to share some of his personality off the football field. And we're going to ask Logan and Santana to share which players they'll be keeping an eye on at training camp and why. You don't want to miss it. Welcome back to Command Center. Earlier this offseason, Washington inked wide receiver Terry McLaurin to a 3-year contract extension. We all know about the talent on the field, recording back-to-back 1,000-plus yard seasons for the first time in franchise history since the mid-1990s. But what is Terry like off the field?
Nice. Get to show a little personality right here.
Just talk to him.
All right, bet. Burgundy or gold? Well, you see the suit. I like gold too. I'm gonna go burgundy because that's the colors of the team, the main colors. Cats or dogs? Dogs. Shout out to my dog Leo at home. He's the homie. And my dog Copper in Indy. Yeah, those are my guys. Definitely dogs. Dogs are. Post route or go route? I like the post route. Honestly, I like the post route because I think especially against cover 4, I know I'm getting that ball if that safety bites on that underneath route. So I think go routes is fun, but post route you could kind of put a little more personality on that route, and depending on the leverage you're gonna run it a little different, depending on what that safety does. So it kind of not only just you're not just running fast, but you're kind of reading the defense and trying to make a play on the fly. Mountains or beaches? I'm a beach guy, definitely a beach guy. Breakfast or dinner? Breakfast guy. That's my best meal. I make the best breakfast sandwich to anybody that I've ever met personally. So, comedy or horror? Ooh. I like a good laugh, but sometimes horror movies are funny because it's like, why are you going into that barn when you know dude is sitting in there? So Lucky Charms or Captain Crunch. So it's funny. I like Lucky Charms because of the marshmallows. So when I was younger, I used to eat just the marshmallows. I'd leave all the other stuff. Oh, y'all didn't have to do this one. The fishing or golf? Y'all gonna make me choose? Dang. I'ma say fishing because I've been at it a little longer. Golf is fun. I'm not gonna lie, like I got the golf bug real bad, but there's nothing like putting your line in the water and the exhilaration of pulling that fish in. You don't know what's on the other end until you pull it in. New Drake or old Drake? Ooh. I like old Drake. Music or podcast? I'm definitely music. Music, I like to listen to music on my car rides to the facility, when I'm driving around the city. Pizza or pasta? Pasta. Pasta is actually my favorite game day meal. It's almost like I can't play unless I have pasta the night before the game because just the carbs that it gives me and the energy that I'm gonna have needed for that game the next day. Casual or formal? I like casual because it's a little drip, but my formal, man, like I'm really getting into having these, I like dressing nicely for nice occasions, Anytime I could put a nice suit on, a nice tie, wear my best cologne and, the details of the shoes and things like that. Like the away games where we have to dress up, I really like those the most.
So Terry will have some new teammates to get acclimated to when he arrives for camp. And here's a look at some of the notable departures and additions to the roster heading into the season. Of course, Carson Wentz, acquired in a trade with Indianapolis before the draft. Pro Bowl guard Brandon Sheriff was lost in free agency. There's actually going to be 2 new starting guards this year as the team brought in Trey Turner and Andrew Norwell. All right, let's talk about some of the most exciting players that Logan and Santana are looking forward to seeing when camp started, guys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited for all the guys, but, I'm a tight end. I got my own biases. So the guy that I'm most excited to see is the young buck out of Nevada, Cole Turner. And again, this could be Cole Turner or Curtis Hodges, both young tight ends, but they're going to be playing a lot of football this year. And I want to see how they develop over the camp process, get the pads on, how physical are they in line. Not something he did, but I think he is a dynamic guy in the pass game. So interesting to see how he handles the other nuances of the game. How about you?
Well, being an offensive guy and being a receiver, it's no other guy that I'm going to keep my eyes on the entire camp other than Carson Wentz. I think when it comes down to it, you want to see the momentum that he's going to be able to carry over from the mini camp, OTAs, into training camp, into the season. I think one of the things that's key when you have a quarterback that's confident, have confidence and that's confident in what he has to go out there and do with the guys around him, he's able to go out there and put up a pretty good season. So I'm looking to see all that.
Totally agree with that. I mean, he is the guy this year that makes this offense go. I like to go a little bit nuanced. I like my independent films. I'm going to go another young guy, Brian Robinson, okay? Brian Robinson, because of what he's going to do for this offense, what he's going to do for Antonio Gibson specifically. I think he's a physical runner. You can't really see that during OTA period, during minicamp. Again, you see some of the vision, but I want to see how he runs with the pads on, see him in preseason, see how he handles that NFL style contact. Because if they get this backfield combination, that's going to be a huge deal for keeping Gibson healthy and making this run game a little bit more effective.
Yeah, he could have easily been on my list. He's a guy that I'm going to be probably keeping my eye on as well. But it's going to be a guy on the other side of the defense that's going to probably have to, bang heads with him, and that's Cole Holcomb. The reason why I'm looking forward to seeing what Cole Holcomb's done, he's a guy that's going to be new at this middle linebacker position. Look, he can flat out play football. He can flat out play any linebacker position you want to put him at. But now he's playing the middle. He's the quarterback basically of the defense. I want to see how he takes on that role, how he has command, and just fly around and do his, strut his stuff, do what he does. So he's going to be a key guy for me.
I like how you got the captain of the offense and the captain of the defense. That's great. And my third guy is defensive guy also. It's Montez Sweat. I think he's positioned himself to have a dominant year. We've seen flashes year on year. I think this is the year he breaks out. Seems to be very confident during the OTA minicamp period. Again, you can't get past his size, weight, speed measurables. He's one of one on the planet Earth, and I think he's poised to do some great stuff and be a leader on that defense, especially with Chase coming back later in the year.
No doubt. And last but not least, no other than a wide receiver, Johann Dodson. Hey, he's our first round pick. He's drafted actually in the slot that I was drafted at some years ago. I don't want to tell my age, but I'm just looking forward to seeing this guy be that guy for us. I think when you saw prematurely, throughout the mini camps, throughout the OTAs, you can just hope that if we can put all that together with a Terry now being back, with a Samuel being healthy, with a great quarterback in Carson Wentz, I'm speaking things into existence here.
Yes, that's right.
Johann Dodson could be one of those guys, man, that we talk about for a long time. And that's just some of the things that I saw that flashed, you know, through those mini camps, through those OTAs, and even watching him in college, man. He's a great talent, and we can get him rolling with the other guys and that quarterback. Enough, I shouldn't say anymore.
Yeah, that's good. Super excited for all these guys. Bram, what do you think?
I think this is a really unusual year where every single position group has really interesting questions surrounding it. Nothing seems certain as we head into training camp, so it should be a really cool summer this year for the Commanders. All right, coming up here, this year the franchise is celebrating their 90th anniversary, and we need the fans to help select our greatest legends. We'll share our thoughts after the break.
Washington here.
I'm Ari Quandro, former offensive lineman for the Washington Commanders.
Hello, Commanders Nation. It's your former tight end, Fred Davis.
This is Charlie Casserly, along with my wife, Bev.
Happy 90th anniversary, Washington organization.
Happy birthday, Washington Commanders. Good luck on the upcoming season.
I wanted to wish the team happy birthday.
So we're turning daily today, are we? Happy birthday, happy 90th birthday.
Happy birthday, Washington organization.
Great players, too many to name, but how about Sammy Baugh, the greatest Redskin of all time, and actually the greatest football player of all time in the National Football League.
Great job representing the nation's capital for 90 years.
Congratulations to the 90th anniversary. It's time to make new history. Let's go!
Washington football in the nation's capital has been something special for 90 years now.
To the guys that laid the foundation before, and of course to the guys I was fortunate enough to be a part of. Happy 90th anniversary.
Here's to another 90 years of success and representing DC, the nation's capital, in the best way possible.
Won 3 Super Bowls. I happen to be part of 2 of those Super Bowls. The next 90 years, let's win 10 of the next 90 years. So, love you guys, love the franchise, love the team. Happy 90th birthday.
But it's the fans, to me, that have gotten us through 90 years, whether it was the great times or the times when it weren't so good. But the fans never left us. They're the best fans in the National Football League, and you're the ones that enjoy the 90 years, because without you, we never would have made it.
The most important thing, we are 90 years old. And I just want to say to everybody that's involved, that's a part of this organization, happy birthday to us. Let's celebrate and make it a great year.
This year, the team will honor our 90-year history in multiple ways throughout the season, including this special 90th anniversary patch that will be worn on the team's jerseys. In addition to the team patch, the franchise will honor the team's history with a special theme at each home game. For more on the importance of this special anniversary season, here's team president Jason Wright.
There's lots of stuff we're doing, but I'm excited about the fight song being played in the stadium again. It'll have basically the same tune. And I know some people are going to sing the old lyrics.
That's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. But it'll have new lyrics that fit with the new brand and identity. But to me, that is almost a spiritual moment that's been missing the last 2 years. And I'm excited to experience that alongside our fan base. And I'm actually interested to see what that atmosphere does for play on the field, because I think it makes a difference. And that fight song will be played by the marching band that has come back, and come back in a proper way, in a buttoned up business way. People are fully paid and and protected, and all of the stuff that needs to be in place, running a proper functioning business here. We're bringing back the marching band to play that fight song and to lead us in that as a community and as a fan base, as a family on game day. We'll have a 90th anniversary patch and design that I think is dope. You're probably seeing it right behind me. It'll show up on the uniforms. It'll be available in merch. And you'll see a bunch of cool merchandise activations over the course of the year. And I don't want to scoop our team because there's some cool stuff that's going to happen. Yeah. But we're finding that we have found a good style and a good aesthetic in what we're putting out there now. And we're partnering with our fans to figure out what they want to put on their bodies.
One way fans can take part in the 90th anniversary celebration is by helping the team select the next 10 members of the franchise's 90th greatest players list by visiting commandlegacy.com to cast their vote. There are some amazing options here to pick from, including one guy who's sitting next to us on the set, Santana Moss, who, for a young generation of fans, I got to tell you, I will be shocked if you're not included in that list.
Yeah, I don't get caught up into it, so if you got a little love for
so modest, man. Yeah,
I'm gonna be real.
He deserves it, man. Make it happen.
Yeah. If they got some love for me somewhere down there, go ahead and put your boy in. But I can't wrap my head around it because it's so many guys before me, so many guys that played with me. We all, the ones that played and went out there and did what they did at a high level deserves it. So if I get caught up in that 10, I appreciate it.
On the list outside of Santana, who do you see on there that you think really truly belongs on that list?
I mean, the Fletchers, the Cooleys, the Kerrigans, guys that have defined this organization during their tenure here. I think it's so important to get those guys on the list. My guy Trent Williams, I'm glad they laid ad. Definitely deserve it. Probably going to be a Hall of Famer. Champ Bailey, those types of guys I think are locks. Anybody you like?
I mean, you said it. Trent, London, Cooley. I mean, all those guys, they were stellar when, I played with them and playing here. And it's hard. That's why I don't get caught up in that stuff because, if you miss a guy or two, do they get a chance for the 100? You know what I mean? So maybe. But I just hope whoever gets that nod that, they all deserve it.
How about you? You did a list, right?
I think Chris Cooley belongs, not only just length of service here, but all the times he spent in the radio booth and all the, the time spent with the organization. Champ Bailey, I know his time was short here. Right. He's the only player that's on that list that is actually in the Hall of Fame. And I think it's hard not to put him on 90 greatest players of all time when he's a literal Hall of Famer. And my guy London Fletcher is going to be in the booth with us this fall. I believe he belongs in the Hall of Fame anyway, so I think he should be there too. And I'm with you on, I'm glad that they changed their mind and put Trent Williams on that list. He's likely heading to Canton. Yes, as well. All right, that'll do it for us here today. For Logan Paulsen, Santana Moss, I'm Bram Weinstein. We'll see you at camp.